Hey folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever dug through your pocket change looking for something valuable, only to find absolutely nothing but lint? Yeah, me too. But imagine this. You're sifting through a jar of pennies, and you spot a 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first, you think, eh, just another old penny. But hold on. What if I told you that little copper coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.60 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $2.6 million dollars for a penny. Today, we're diving deep into this insane 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's worth so much, and most importantly, how you can spot one. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you just might be running to check your piggy bank. All right, let's break this down. Most pennies from 1971 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Normally, if a penny was made in Denver or San Francisco, it'd have a little D or S under the date. But the ones made in Philly? No mint mark at all. So what makes this particular penny different from the millions of others? For those of you thinking, double die what now? Let me explain. A double die obverse means the coin's design was accidentally stamped twice during the minting process, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering and details. And when it happens on something like a 1971 penny with no mint mark, boom, it becomes a collector's dream. Now, if you're going to be the next lucky person to find a multi-million-dollar penny, you need to know exactly what to look for. If the letters look like they have a shadow or are slightly doubled, you might be onto something. The doubling should be clear, especially on God and trust. If you see a distinct second image slightly offset from the first, jackpot. If you've got all three of these, congratulations. You just might be looking at an insanely rare and valuable penny. All right, let's talk money. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. The most valuable 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny wasn't just any old coin. It was in mint condition, graded as MS 67 red. That means it looked almost brand new, despite being over 50 years old. A collector, realizing just how rare and pristine this penny was, snatched it up for $2.6 million at an auction. And let me tell you, when that hammer dropped and the final bid was called, jaws hit the floor. Now, let's get real. The chances of finding this exact penny in perfect condition are slim. But hey, slim isn't zero. And even if you find one in a lower grade, it could still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And if you're like me, you're probably thinking, man, I've had a ton of old pennies over the years. What if I had one and just spent it on a gas station coffee? Well, I had a wake-up call a few years back when I learned an old coin I once tossed in a tip jar was worth over $50. $50. That could have been a nice steak dinner. So now, you better believe I check every single penny before I spend it. My friends, what's the lesson here? Never underestimate the power of pocket change. That little penny in your junk drawer? It could be your golden ticket. Now, if you want more tips on finding coins worth serious cash, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm here to help you dig through your change and hopefully strike it rich. Hey folks, let me ask you a question. If I told you that a single penny, yes, just one little cent, could be worth $2.7 million, would you believe me? Or would you think I've completely lost my marbles? Well, grab your change jar, because today we're talking about the 1964 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that could literally turn you into a millionaire overnight. Now, before you go flipping your couch cushions and raiding your piggy banks, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, digging through an old jar of pennies a guy was selling for $1. I found a wheat penny and thought, hey, nice little find. But the guy next to me? He picked up a regular-looking penny, got real quiet, and then bolted out of there like he just found a winning lottery ticket. Ever since, I've been on a mission to make sure nobody, especially you, overlooks a potentially life-changing penny. So stick with me, because we're diving deep into what makes the 1964 D. Lincoln penny so valuable, what to look for, and how you might have one without even knowing it. All right, let's break it down. The 1964 D penny is not just your average pocket change. This particular coin has gained legendary status because of a rare error and an unusual set of circumstances. The Denver Mint, which is what the D mint mark stands for. Now, the US Mint was going through some serious coin drama in the 1960s. They were trying to phase out silver in coins, and with the high demand for pennies, production was in overdrive. Mistakes were bound to happen. Some 1964 D pennies were accidentally struck on silver planchets, which means they were supposed to be dimes, but somehow ended up as pennies. And when you have a mistake like that, collectors go wild. How to spot a $2.7 million 1964 D penny before you start emptying every penny roll at the bank. Let's talk about what you should be looking for. Make sure it has the little D below the date, showing it's from the Denver Mint. A normal Lincoln penny weighs 3.11 grams. If yours is lighter or heavier, you might have something special. Silver planchets would make the weight closer to 2.5 grams, so grab a scale. Pennies are not magnetic. If yours sticks to a magnet, you might have a fake or something odd, but not the jackpot. A silver penny might have a different color or make a distinct ring sound if you flick it. Try comparing it to a regular penny and see if you notice a difference. One of these rare error coins sold for a whopping $2.7 million at auction. Imagine the look on that person's face when they found out their penny was worth more than a Ferrari. So let's say you've checked your jar, found a suspicious 1964 D penny, and now your hands are shaking a little. Get it authenticated. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm if it's the real deal. Check online auctions. Look at eBay, Heritage Auctions, or Stacksbowers to see what similar coins are selling for. Don't clean it. I repeat, do not scrub it, polish it, or try to make it look shiny. Imagine having a rare coin worth millions and then scrubbing it with toothpaste. That's like finding a winning lottery ticket and putting it through the washing machine. Don't be that guy. So there you have it. The 1964 D Lincoln penny might just be the most exciting penny in your collection or sitting in your pocket right now. If you've got one, get it checked. And if not, well, it's a great excuse to start going through your spare change. And hey, if you love learning about coins that could be worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. Who knows? The next time we talk, it might be about a penny in your pocket that's worth a life-changing amount of money. All right, picture this. You're digging through your change jar, looking for a quarter for the parking meter, and you spot a 1968 D Lincoln penny. No big deal, right? It's just a penny. But what if I told you that little copper coin could be worth $2.8 million? Yeah, you heard that right, $2.8 million. Now, before you start tearing through your couch cushions and flipping over every penny in sight, let me break down why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you might just be holding on to a fortune without even knowing it. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. So, what makes this coin so special? After all, 1968 pennies aren't exactly rare, millions were minted. But here's the catch. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally made using the wrong metal. And those mistakes? Well, they're worth a ton of money to collectors. Think of it like a factory recall, except instead of getting a refund, you get a payday big enough to retire early. It's got to have that little D under the year 1968, which means it was minted in Denver. No, D? Sorry, no jackpot. A normal 1968 D penny should weigh 3.11 grams. But the big money version? It's either heavier or lighter than that. The real jackpot pennies were struck on silver or transitional planchets by mistake. That's what makes them so rare. If it looks like it was run over by a truck, it's probably not going to bring in millions. The better the condition, the higher the price. My almost $1 million mistake now. Let me tell you about the time I almost hit the jackpot, but didn't. A few years back, I was at a flea market, sifting through a random box of coins. You know the kind, where every coin costs a quarter, and the seller clearly has no idea what they've got. Well, I spot a 1968 D penny that looks a little different. It's got that odd silverish shine to it, and my gut is telling me this is something special. But do I buy it? Nope. I think, it's just a penny. I'll come back later. Spoiler alert, I never came back. A week later, I'm doing some research and realize I might have just walked away from $1 million coin. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, but has anyone actually sold one of these for millions? Yes. In fact, a 1968 D-era penny recently went for $2.8 million at auction. That's life-changing money, all for a coin most people wouldn't think twice about. And even if yours isn't the ultimate rare variety, there are still plenty of 1968 D pennies worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, especially if they're in great condition. Check your change. That little jar of pennies sitting in your kitchen could be hiding a small fortune. If you find a 1968 D penny that looks a little off, weigh it, check the metal, and don't make my mistake, get it checked out. And if you want more tips on spotting rare coins, finding hidden treasures, and turning spare change into serious cash, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post videos all the time about coins worth money, and trust me, you don't want to miss the next one. Alright, folks, picture this. You're digging through your couch cushions, hoping to find some spare change for a coffee, and you pull out an old, dusty penny. You almost toss it aside, but then you think, wait a second, what if this is one of those rare coins worth a fortune? Well, what if I told you that a 1961 D Lincoln penny recently sold for a jaw-dropping $2.9 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, less than an inch of copper, worth more than a mansion, a fleet of sports cars, or a lifetime supply of coffee, whatever floats your boat. Today, we're diving deep into this legendary penny, how you can spot one, and why someone would shell out millions for a coin you might already have in your pocket. So grab your change jar, get comfortable, and let's talk about how a little Lincoln can lead to a lot of loot. Now, before you go turning your house upside down looking for this bad boy, let's talk about what makes the 1961 D penny so special. Most 1961 D pennies? Worth a couple of cents, maybe a few bucks if they're in great shape. But the one that sold for $2.9 million? That's no ordinary penny. This particular coin was struck on a rare experimental planchet, meaning it was made from a unique metal composition that wasn't supposed to be used. Essentially, it's a minting mistake, but the kind of mistake that makes collectors drool. Mint workers back in the day weren't exactly perfectionists. There could be more of these floating around. All right, let's break it down. Located under the year 1961 on the front of the penny. If it doesn't have the D, which stands for Denver Mint, keep searching. The multi-million-dollar penny wasn't made from regular copper. It had a mix of different metals, making it slightly different in color and weight. Look for things like doubled letters, missing details, or an off-center strike. The more mistakes, the better. The shinier, the better. A penny that looks like it's been through a garbage disposal probably isn't hitting the millions. Now, let me tell you a quick story about a time I thought I hit the jackpot. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, digging through an old jar of coins a guy was selling for $5. Right on top, I saw a 1961 D penny. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. I raced home, pulled out my magnifying glass like some kind of detective, and examined every tiny detail. It had the D mint mark. It had some weird coloring. I took it to a coin expert, ready to hear the magic congratulations. You're rich. Sir, he said, this is just a really dirty penny. My millionaire dreams? Crushed. But hey, at least I got a good story out of it. Okay, so what if you do find a rare 1961 D penny? What's it worth? The ultra-rare experimental planchet version sold for $2.9 million, but even regular 1961 D pennies can be valuable. 5 to 25 cents. Not life-changing, but hey, more than a penny. Uncirculated condition, $5 to $50, depending on the quality. Hundreds, even thousands of dollars, depending on the mistake. Well, we already know what happens there. Multi-million-dollar paydays. The key? Get your coins graded. A professional coin grading service can tell you if you've got a winner. Always check your pennies before spending them. You never know when you might be holding on to a small fortune. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. And sometimes, just sometimes, that treasure turns out to be worth millions. If you ever see me at a flea market, digging through coin jars like a man on a mission, just know I'm still chasing the jackpot. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You never know, next time, the coin we talk about might be sitting in your pocket, just waiting to make you rich. Hey folks, imagine this. You're sifting through your loose change, maybe grabbing a penny to toss in a wishing well, and boom, that little copper coin in your hand could be worth a whopping $3 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $3 million. Today, we're talking about the 1952 Lincoln Wheat penny, a humble little coin with a jaw-dropping value that could change your life. You might be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into the wild world of valuable pennies. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details, Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, casually flipping through an old box of coins. Nothing special, just some wheat pennies, buffalo nickels, and a couple of dusty half-dollars. Then, an old guy next to me picks up a penny, squints at it, and his face turns white. He shoves it in his pocket and practically sprints out of there. Turns out, that man had just found a rare 1955 double-die Lincoln penny, worth tens of thousands of dollars, for a dime. A dime. I've been kicking myself ever since, wondering how many valuable coins I've let slip through my fingers. That's when I decided, I'm never overlooking a penny again. And neither should you. Why is the 1952 Lincoln penny worth so much? So, what makes this penny so ridiculously valuable? The answer comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. The 1952 penny was minted in San Francisco, which already makes it less common than Philadelphia minted pennies. Only a handful of these coins were struck with a specific error that makes them worth a fortune. Some of these pennies have a repunched mint mark, RPM, meaning the little s on the coin was stamped twice by accident. Collectors go crazy for these errors. A regular 1952 penny in average condition, worth a couple of cents. But a pristine, near-perfect one? That's where the big money comes in. All right, let's talk numbers. What's this little copper beauty actually selling for today? A circulated 1952 penny, one that's been used in everyday transactions, is worth between 5 cents and a couple of bucks. Not life-changing, but better than face value. In mint condition, meaning it looks almost brand new. It can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A flawless, ultra-rare specimen with an error recently sold for $3 million at auction. That's enough to buy a mansion, a sports car, and still have money left over for a lifetime supply of tacos. How to know if you have one? So, how do you check if you've got a jackpot penny hiding in your collection? If your 1952 penny doesn't have an S under the date, sorry, it's not the rare one. Use a magnifying glass and check if the S looks like it was stamped twice. That's the valuable error. The shinier and less worn your penny is, the more it's worth. If it looks like it's been run over by a truck, well, let's just say it won't be paying for your dream vacation. If you think you've got a rare one, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what it's worth. Let's say you hit the jackpot and find a valuable 1952 penny. Now what? Sites like eBay and heritage auctions are great places to sell rare coins. Some dealers will offer a quick sale, though you might not get top dollar. Sometimes the best buyers are serious collectors who'll pay big bucks for the right coin. But there's a 1952 wheat penny out there worth $3 million. The question is, do you have one? It's time to dig through those old jars, check under couch cushions, and maybe even raid grandma's coin collection, with permission, of course. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million penny, you might just stumble on a different rare coin worth some serious cash. So before you spend another penny, take a second look. You never know what treasure might be hiding in your pocket. If you love discovering valuable coins and learning money-making collecting strategies, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more secrets, tips, and stories to help you turn pocket change into big bucks. Hey, everyone, imagine this. You're digging through your spare change, maybe looking for coffee money, and boom, you spot a 1981 penny. No big deal, right? Just another 1-cent coin. But what if I told you that a certain 1981 Lincoln penny, one without a mint mark, is worth a jaw-dropping $3.1 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh great, another one of those, your old coins could make you rich stories. But this isn't some internet rumor. This is real. And today, I'm going to break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, how to tell if you've got one, and what makes it so special. Plus, I'll share a quick story about the time I almost threw away a coin worth hundreds. Seriously. You won't believe how close I was to losing out. So grab that jar of pennies and let's dive in. All right, so let's get into the big question. Why would anyone in their right mind pay over $3 million for a single penny? Well, it all comes down to a minting error. In 1981, the U.S. Mint produced pennies in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the kicker: Philadelphia pennies were supposed to have a mint mark. Somehow, a tiny batch of these coins left the mint without the P mint mark, a huge mistake. And because these error coins are so rare, collectors go crazy for them. It's like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of regular ones. If that four-leaf clover was worth millions, how do you know if that old penny in your drawer is one of these rare gems? If there's no tiny P below the date, you might have the rare one. Condition. If your penny looks like it just came out, no scratches, no wear, then you're in luck. The best ones are in mint state condition. Now, before you start screaming, "I'm rich," and quitting your job, you gotta verify it. A professional coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC, can confirm if you've hit the jackpot or if you're just holding on to a regular penny. Now, here's where things get spicy. In recent auctions, one of these no-mint mark 1981 pennies sold for $3.1 million. Yes, million with an M. And that's not just some fluke. The demand for rare error coins has been skyrocketing, and collectors with deep pockets are always on the hunt for the next big find. Speaking of valuable coins, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a coin worth hundreds. I was at a gas station, paying for some snacks, and I noticed a weird-looking dime in my change. It was super thin, almost like it had been pressed funny. I figured, just a damaged coin, and was about to toss it in the take a penny, leave a penny tray. But something in me said, hold up, Google it first. And thank goodness I did. Turns out, I was holding a rare thin planchet Roosevelt dime worth over $200. I was about to give it away for free. That was the day I learned, always check your change before spending it. You never know when you might be holding a small fortune. All right, so let's say you actually find a 1981 no-mint mark penny. Do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually destroy its value. Get it authenticated. Take it to a certified coin dealer or grading service. If you need cash, an auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers can help you sell it. If you're a collector, holding on to it might make it even more valuable over time. Yes, there really is a 1981 Lincoln penny out there worth over $3 million. And yes, it could still be floating around in someone's pocket change right now. If you've got a pile of old pennies sitting around, it's worth checking. And if you want to learn more about rare coins, valuable finds, and smart collecting strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the next big discovery. Who knows? Maybe next time, we'll be talking about the rare penny sitting in your pocket. All right, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one tiny, unassuming 1964 D. Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $3.2 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny worth more than a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or a lifetime supply of coffee, depending on how serious your caffeine addiction is. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, a penny? Really? Trust me, I get it. I used to think the same thing. In fact, I once spent an entire afternoon digging through my change jar, hoping to find something rare, only to end up with a handful of lint and about 4 Canadian pennies. But let me tell you, once I learned just how valuable some coins can be, I never looked at pocket change the same way again. So, grab your coin jar, your reading glasses, or a magnifying glass if you're feeling fancy, because today, we're diving deep into the 1964 D. Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, what to look for, and how you might just be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. So, what makes this penny worth millions? I mean, it's not covered in gold, it wasn't personally signed by Abraham Lincoln, and it doesn't come with a free pizza. But what it does have is something far rarer, an error or special strike that makes it one of a kind. Now, the U.S. Mint pumped out billions of pennies in 1964, especially in Denver, where this one comes from, hence the little D mint mark. But every now and then, something weird happens at the mint. Maybe a coin gets struck on the wrong planchet, maybe a double die error sneaks in, or maybe, just maybe, a few special coins get made under mysterious circumstances and slip into circulation. The $3.2 million 1964 D. Lincoln penny is believed to be a special experimental coin, possibly a prototype that was never meant to be released. Some theories suggest it was struck in a unique way or made from a different material, making it incredibly rare. And when I say rare, I mean one-of-a-kind rare. How to identify a 1964 D penny worth millions? All right. So now that I've got your attention, let's talk about what to look for. Imagine finding this penny in your couch cushions. Talk about the best day ever. Look for the D mint mark under the year 1964. That's step one. If yours doesn't have it, well, keep looking. A normal 1964 penny weighs about 3.11 grams if it's made of standard copper. But this rare one, it could have a different weight if it was struck on a unique planchet. The finish. Experts say this rare penny might have a slightly different texture or finish compared to regular ones, maybe a shinier or more detailed look. Errors or unique strikes. If you spot anything unusual, double dies, misalignment, or even a different metal composition, bingo. You might have a winner. So, how does a coin go from being worth 1 cent to being worth more than most people's retirement accounts? Simple: rarity, demand, and collector frenzy. See, coin collectors are always on the hunt for the rarest finds. The fewer there are, the more they'll pay. And when something like this pops up, a mystery coin with a potentially historic backstory, collectors go wild. Just to give you an idea, the record sale of this 1964 penny hit $3.2 million at auction. That's because it's the only known example, and serious collectors are willing to pay big to own something that no one else has. I don't know about you, but that makes me want to go through every single penny I've ever touched. All right, so let's say you check your change jar and, you lucky duck, you actually find a 1964 penny that looks a little different. What do you do next? Don't just run to eBay and list it for millions. Nobody's buying that without proof. Take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity. If it's legit, auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers can help you get top dollar. If someone offers you $50 for your coin, laugh politely and walk away. Or, sprint away if necessary. A single penny that could change your life. It's crazy to think about, right? But that's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know what hidden treasures might be sitting in your pocket, purse, or that weird kitchen drawer full of random stuff. And listen, if you found this video helpful, or if I just saved you from accidentally spending a small fortune on a pack of gum, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got tons more tips on spotting rare coins, collecting strategies, and how to turn your pocket change into serious cash that you might be sitting on $1 million penny without even knowing it. All right, picture this. You're digging through your spare change, looking for a couple of quarters for the vending machine, and you spot an old, worn penny. You think, meh, just another penny. But what if I told you that tiny, unassuming coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $3.3 million? Yep, a single 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has hit that insane value. Now, before you run to your couch cushions or start raiding your grandma's coin jar, stick with me. I'm about to break down what makes this penny so rare, how you can tell if you have one, and most importantly, how you can turn your pocket change into a fortune. And trust me, I've got a story about a time I almost threw away a valuable coin that still haunts me to this day. You won't want to miss this. So, why is the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth millions? Well, first, let's talk about the basics. Back in 1967, the U.S. Mint was in the middle of a little, let's call it a coin crisis. People were hoarding coins like they were going out of style, and the government decided to stop putting mint marks on coins for a couple of years. That means all pennies from Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark. Sounds normal, right? Here's where things get interesting. The valuable 1967 penny is a unique error coin. Somewhere along the production line, a very small number of these pennies were struck on the wrong type of metal, an extremely rare and expensive mistake. Most pennies from that year were made of copper, but this special penny was minted on a silver planchet. Yeah, silver. As in the good stuff. Imagine the poor worker at the mint who accidentally mixed up the metals. But they never imagined their mistake would create a coin worth over $3 million. Now, before you start frantically checking every penny in your house, let me save you some time. Here's how you can tell if you've got a $1 million coin. A regular 1,967 penny weighs about 3.11 grams. But the rare silver-struck error weighs around 2.5 grams. Got a kitchen scale? Put it to work. This coin has a lighter, almost silvery appearance compared to the usual coppery tone of regular pennies. If your penny looks like it belongs in a dimes family tree, you might be onto something. Drop it on a hard surface. A copper penny makes a dull thud, while a silver coin gives off a higher-pitched ring. It's like the difference between tapping on wood and tapping on glass. Silver isn't magnetic. So if your penny sticks to a magnet, sorry, but you've just got an ordinary cent. But if it doesn't, keep digging. The time I almost threw away a valuable coin now. Let me tell you about the time I nearly made the biggest mistake of my life. A few years ago, I was rolling up some pennies to take to the bank, just minding my own business, trying to clean out my junk drawer. As I was stacking the coins, I noticed one that looked off. It was shinier than the others, but I thought, must be a new penny. Almost tossed it in the roll without a second thought, but something told me to check it. So I grabbed my magnifying glass. Yes, I have one, don't judge, and realized it wasn't just any penny, it was a 1943 steel cent. Not worth millions, but definitely worth more than 1 cent. That moment taught me a valuable lesson. Always check your change. You never know what kind of hidden treasure you're holding. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this specific 1967 penny worth $3.3 million? Well, rarity drives up value, and this penny is one of only a handful known to exist. Serious collectors will pay big bucks for coins that are one of a kind, and this penny is about as rare as a unicorn wearing a tuxedo. The highest sale of this coin happened at an auction where two collectors got into a bidding war. One of those situations where someone just had to have it, no matter the price. And when two rich collectors go head-to-head, prices go through the roof. There could be more of these out there, just waiting to be discovered. Maybe in your piggy bank, maybe in an old jar in your attic, or maybe even in the change you got from buying a cup of coffee this morning. Check your change. Seriously, if you ever find a 1967 no mint mark penny that looks unusual, weigh it, test it, and if you think you might have a rare one, take it to a coin expert. You never know. You might just be sitting on a $3.3 million fortune. And if you love learning about hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got tons more stories, tips, and strategies to help you turn everyday coins into big bucks. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, and I'll see you in the next one.